They hate us now, though, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I wonder why.
Absolutely hate us.
Well, we
now.
went over there and took over their country, Andy.
Yes.
It was funny because I did a gig recently, typical sort of crowd.
Handing out chocolate bars and sweets to kids.
In the back of a van, yeah.
Although it was called Spot the Ball, There's My Ex has completely marked the spot, but it turns out, no, even when you could see the ball, you were not right.
Sounds like we're talking about the Nick Cayman laundrette video again, doesn't it?
It's time to adjust those shoulder pads, backcomb what's left of your hair, and jump into the DeLorean for a look back at what's possibly the best decade anyone could ever have grown up in.
Shall we play a game?
This is Bring Back the 80s with your hosts James Alderson and me, Andy Jackson.
We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Welcome to episode number 14.
Oh, thank God we got past 13. After the 2 episodes that were disasters and then followed by episode 13, I was sure something else was going to happen, Andy.
Well, maybe something still will. You never know, do you?
We are episode 13 plus 1, so I suppose, yeah. But never forget, it's like a t-shirt, never forget. So we've got the old floppy disk and VHS cassette and the normal music cassette. Never forget, yeah.
Didn't you have one the other day as well, VHS and Chill, as well on the t-shirt?
Yeah, it's all about the VHS.
Very good.
I've got a lot of VHS tapes. We've got a fefew up here. E.T. and
Coming to America's up
Goonies
there as well.
Somewhere.
That was $9.99 even then.
I know. I mean, the video tapes were very expensive when you factor in it was like a 3 or 4 times that in today's money. So you're paying a tenner. You really did value it, but then you watched it once or twice, and then it was put on the shelving or in those weird Reader's Digest style cases.
They look like books. Because it was common to have, if you had videos out on display, it was common, but disguise them as books.
Oh yeah, because you're
intelligent. That's fine, intelligent. Yes.
And what you actually recorded was some soft filth on Channel 4, and you put it up behind the telly, so that nobody found it.
It was very kind of Channel 4 to have that handy warning triangle in the corner of all their filthy programs as well,
so you knew
to alert you to the fact that it's time to hit play and record. Definitely.
Oh God, why are you still up? Shush, Dad, go to sleep. It's 2 a.m. trying to record Joan Collins in the stud.
That was the best we could do, isn't it? Joan Collins in the stud. Oh my God.
Well, anyway, Adverts.
We're back on adverts. We had some crackers. I think the best one last time round was the Levi 501.
Yes.
We did also have the copycat one done by Carling Black Label, because in those days you could advertise alcohol on the telly anytime, day or night.
Why not?
You? Anytime,
breakfast
day or
beer?
night. So let's give. Speaking of breakfast beer, let's give you.
Mystery sound. Should we do the mystery sound? We're going to do that first. He's been on the breakfast beer, I think.
Here it is, a reminder.
Oh my goodness. E.T. Is it E.T.?
I can't say just yet.
No.
Can't say. If you know what that sound is, if you were one of those people who spent that time in their bedroom trying to make it all work, plugging the thing.
What are we talking about?
Putting the right thing in the right hole.
Oh, no.
And make it happen.
Pressing all the right buttons.
Then you'd have to wait for about 3 or 4 minutes, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
and you never knew whether it was, you never
You're talking about marriage.
You never knew. So anyway, that's the mystery sound. If you know what it is, let us know in the comments. Chance to win a Bring Back the 80s super soft t-shirt available in all the sizes, or tickets to one of James's comedy gigs across the south,
of course,
with all the A-list celebrities off the telly.
You name it,
coming to a stadium near you somewhere. So anyway, as I was saying, let's do another alcoholic TV advert. Breakfast beer coming right up.
The water in Mallorca doesn't taste like what it ought to.
The water in Mallorca don't taste like what it ought to.
The water in Mallorca doesn't taste quite how it should.
Mallorca. Hi, Dale. Any danger of some refreshment in here?
Here you are. Get your laughing gear in there.
Oh, golly. The water in Mallorca.
What's that?
Don't taste like what it oughta. Oh, gosh. The water in Mallorca don't taste like what it oughta.
She's cracked it. She's only cracked it.
You're absolutely wrong.
Heineken refreshes the parts what other beers cannot reach.
A lovely change to the original slogan there.
Yes.
The parts of the beers. Yeah, I mean,
they literally they can't make them like that anymore because there's so many rules and regulations and stupid stuff to stop
it doesn't
us all
change the way
turning
you
into
talk.
alcoholics.
Well,
And
it actually does change the way you talk if you have 10 of those. But yeah, it just reminds you again another great slogan. And
no jingle on that one though.
No jingle, no. But the pool cans where the ring pull comes off the can, you used to see them in the street everywhere, didn't you? Ring pulls and fag butts. That's all you saw.
And dog shit.
And what?
Dog shit.
Dog shit. Yeah. And gas. You smelled gas. And dog shit. But it's God, Heineken. It was just. And the cans as well, the design of the cans. I mean, it's just the advertising agencies that created these things, because everything was so focused on just one medium, it was just telly. There wasn't all the socials and everything else. It was just iconic. Advertising agencies in London that were putting these things together, just bloody brilliant.
And that's the thing, because you would have at one time you only had the ITV, so there was in terms of commercials.
Yeah.
So if you were watching Coronation Street, for instance,
20 million people,
you saw that advert. You say 20 million people would watch that, and that again would be perhaps as much of a talking point the next day.
Yeah.
Because I can remember saying the water in Majorca, and we would all do that off the back of that advert. Maybe that's why I've ended up half an alcoholic, to be quite honest,
and banned from Majorca.
Majorca.
I mean, that's most of us went to Spain in the 70s and 80s. That's where you went on your holidays. If someone went anywhere other than Spain, they had some money. If they were going to Disneyland or they were going to somewhere, God help us, east of us, it was always going to America, France, Spain, and Mallorca and Canary Islands and all those sorts of Balearic Islands.
Still good. They hate us now, though, don't they?
Oh yeah, I wonder why.
Absolutely hate us.
Well, we
now.
went over there and took over their country,
yes,
and that's fine when it's us. But we don't like people coming over here and having a pop at it. But yeah, the Majorca, it was just, every kid was saying that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Water in Majorca don't taste like what it ought. And classic advert. Good choice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Indeed. So there's more of those classic adverts still to come as well.
Yep.
But right now, it's time for a big surprise.
Oh, hello.
James's special lunchbox surprise.
Correct, it is, and we're not talking about the laundrette again with Nick Gaiman. If you slip into my lunchbox, have a little butcher's. And I'll this product came to me at a gig recently, and I'll tell you the story.
I never know what's going to get here because this is always genuinely.
Yeah, I don't show you before. Exactly. Don't keep them both, thank you. Okay. I hate it. It's broken. Don't you hate it when a chocolate bar gets broken? Are they both broken?
They're both broken.
Sorry, I had it in my back pocket, naughty boy.
But anyway, I always think to myself, it's going to get broken when you eat it anyway. Though,
I suppose inside. Yeah. So it's Milky Bar. That's what we've got here. Milky Bar in the old lunchbox. Have you seen the price of it?
I'm astonished that it's 65 pence.
I couldn't believe it.
Bar. Oh my God.
I bought it and walked out. As I was walking out, I thought, these 65 I'm sure these were like 10p. But they are bigger. But what I used to love about a Milky Bar was it was in foil with a paper sleeve wrap around it, a bit like a Kit Kat. I mean, most of it was paper, wasn't it? I wasn't really a big fan of Milky Bar. Random, a bit of something different, but
it's like chocolate without the chocolate taste, isn't it? Really,
it's the same.
Any slight semblance of goodness in chocolate has been removed, just to give us the pure sugar and fat here. But they do taste very, very, very much the same.
Yeah. They used to be possibly, I was going to say thinner, but I don't think they had the edge on them before, did they? They used to really...
I think they were snappier.
Yeah.
A little bit snappier. But the flavour, definitely good. I can confirm it is definitely deliciously smooth and creamy.
Milky Bars are on me. Remember that advert?
Didn't they used to audition for new Milky Bar kids?
Yeah.
When the ones obviously had grown up.
Yeah.
And it was always the same. It had to be a blonde kid, didn't it?
Yeah.
With glasses.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't let them get older because that would really Well, I mean, you'd end up with some old bloke trying to get kids chocolate bars and sweets. It was funny because I did a gig recently, typical sort of crowd.
Handing out chocolate bars and sweets to kids.
In the back of a van, no, I just said to, and there was, of all the normal sort of middle-aged people who have at comedy gigs, someone had brought their son along who was about 14. And I said, what's your favourite chocolate bar? And he said, Milky Bar.
Wow.
And I said, oh, are they on you? And everyone laughed. And he was like, what? What are you talking about, mate? And there's like 200 people laughing. And he's just staring at me going, what joke have you just made? There's nothing on TikTok about that. And so, yeah, it was funny. It made me remember all about Milky Bars. Should I say, not one of my favourites, but good adverts.
I've forgotten how good these are, actually, because I'm shamelessly scoffing the lot here, James.
Yeah, mine's gone.
A good choice.
Thank you. Well, it was a great advert. Again, Milky Bars are on me. And then something about something tough and strong.
Milky Bar Kiddies, strong and tough. Milky Bar. Yeah. So
Another advert for our Christmas album. I think we covered that jingle perfectly there. And, if anyone can sing it better, good luck.
Send us a WhatsApp.
But wasn't it Nestles to start with as well?
Yeah, and then it turned into Nestle.
Nestle.
Yeah.
And it went all foreign. Bloody Europe.
Well, the trouble is that we cannot even, we refuse to speak foreign languages.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when IKEA came, it's not IKEA at all now, is it? It's IKEA now.
IKEA and Lidl and Aldi, or something in the advert he says, doesn't he? Aldi. The every day or something, IKEA. So it's, yes. Sorry about the accent, by the way. It was meant to be Yorkshire.
I was thinking to myself, this is beginning to get close to a hate crime nowadays. Just a little bit.
It's about we're back to disasters. Changed his accent. But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, bloody brilliant. Just all the adverts tried 100%. There was none of this bollocks where they just go, I'll buy this. It actually tried to get you to remember it, every single advert.
They all had a proper they were all little stories in themselves. They had a beginning, they had a middle, they had an end.
Yeah.
Sometimes you would remember the advert, but they'd been so creative you wouldn't necessarily remember what the product was.
That's true. I mean, but if you were wandering around singing their jingle, you were like a continuation of the advert.
Yeah.
It was bloody brilliant. When you're carrying a carrier bag around for shops and stuff, you're a mobile advert, and you think, that's handy, and I'll get a tote bag, that's good, and it says M&S on it, and you're constantly advertising for them. But as kids in the 80s, we were wandering around, going trio. I mean, we were just advertising a biscuit wherever we went, just at full volume, pissing off our teachers.
So were you one of the people who would have a shopping bag and then turn it inside out so that you weren't giving free adverts to the store? Because I think now, seeing as they charge you for the bloody bag as well, the last thing you want to be doing is giving them free publicity back.
They should be paying us.
They should be paying us.
Would you like to be paid 10 pence a day to walk around with this carrier bag? Yes, I would.
I'd do it,
yes. You may be killing turtles. That doesn't matter. I want a carrier bag that kills turtles and gives me 10 pence a day. Yeah.
How long has it been since we've had to pay for the privilege of being able to carry our shopping? Because I remember when they started charging, you would see, and it was always men coming out of the shop saying, I'm not paying 5p. I'm not paying 5p for a bag. I'll manage. Yeah. And they piled up high, trying to get the car keys.
It's funny you should mention this, because I had a little bit of an embarrassing moment yesterday. I went to Home Bargains and bought a lot of the coconut bird feeder things, they're half coconuts full of fat. And I didn't want to buy a carrier bag, and I had about 8 of them. So what I said was, it'll be fine, I'll put them in my pockets. So I put 3 half coconuts down each pocket, and it's only when I'm half walking across the car park that I realised looked like I had the biggest gonads you've ever seen in your life. Nuts McGee, they call me. Gonads, that's an 80s word. Walking across the car park, I was getting some odd looks. I looked like I had some sort of hernia, hemorrhoid issue going on. But the biggest nuts, literally, in the car park that day.
That has just reminded me of an advert that I desperately wanted to include, but sadly it was from the 90s rather than the 80s. So maybe in another 10 years, James, if we're still going, if we're on our episode 15 of series number 12, and we've got 504 subscribers. Maybe we'll be able to touch on the 90s. But do you remember the one
use that phrase?
Do you remember there was an advert? The most complained about advert was the guy who had the pot noodle horn. Do you remember the pot?
I don't remember that.
Oh my God. It was a guy with, it was his trousers was sticking out like this because he had a horn in his pocket, and it was the pot. Basically, have you got the pot noodle horn? It was hilarious.
That doesn't sound right.
It does not.
Who was the guy in that?
It was just a guy.
Oh, it wasn't.
Nobody famous.
Oh, well, that's probably the safe one then. We'll do that, yeah.
We'll do that one day. One day in another 10 years' time, James, when we're still here. God, how old will we be then?
Oh, well, I won't remember the 90s, that's for sure.
The tellies will all have gone back to being square rather than widescreen.
We'll have to, because it fits social media that way, doesn't it?
Do you know what they've done with social media now is basically they've turned those widescreen tellies sideways so that they're too long now.
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it?
They should have just kept them square.
Yeah,
where everything worked for everybody.
Well, I hate it when you load something up and they go, "Oh no, this isn't the right profile. This isn't the right dimensions for this. You can't put this up." I just think I've got two letters for you, mate. A and I. Surely I can fucking sort it. I don't have to worry about it. I'm bloody ancient. Shouldn't have to be reconfiguring everything I'm putting onto a bloody.
Every single social media is different, isn't it? Some's got to be square. Some's got to be that way. Some's got to be that way.
Surprisingly, all the adverts fit perfectly.
Don't they?
So that
always?
all works. Doesn't it? I bet they don't bounce that when they're paying to advertise their shit. I'm just trying to put up a picture of my dog and they go, no,
they can't do
doesn't
that.
fit that way, mate. You want to change that dimensions, change the pixel ratio. What the hell are you talking about, pixels? Yeah, so, adverts, I've got just looking down there, got a lot of bottle. What a bloody great advert that was for milk. It's behind you.
Is it behind me?
Yeah, if you swivel and don't knock the stage over. There we go. There it is. So we, as kids, we all got a lot of bottle T-shirts, milk cup glasses. You know, it was such a great. And who advertised that? Does it say on the back who's advertising it? No, it doesn't.
Glasses by Ravenhead. I remember Ravenhead were a very big glasses
and vases. Everyone had a vase made by Ravenhead
Glass Company from St Helens.
Why not? But the Got a Lot of Bottle was funded by the Milk Marketing Board. I'm sure it was, and we all remember it. But I mean, what's happened now? We're drinking milk, but nobody's promoting it. What, did we not drink as much milk in the 80s?
We didn't drink enough, James. That was the issue.
Or are we drinking? Are we drinking enough now?
Who knows, James? Who knows?
I can't be, because you're trying to milk some sort of oat somehow, or a fish, or whatever you're allowed to do. You can't
actually. How do you milk an oat? How do you milk an oat?
Difficulty. I don't know, but it's crush a grape. Do you remember that? Maybe you just crush it, like in was it Cracker Jack? That guy.
Yeah, I could crush a grape.
I could wrestle an action man. That was the one. But yeah, surely we're not drinking enough milk now. So I say, let's bring back Got a Lot of Bottle and let's drink more milk. What was that?
That was you are knocking the set over there.
Was I?
James. Yes.
Oh no!
You've moved. We have to be so
we're jigging about so excitedly about adverts that we're knocking the set over.
Instead of just talking about them, let's have another actual advert, shall we?
Yeah.
Talk about iconic. Talk about one with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
I don't suppose you have a copy of Fly Fishing by J.R. Hartley. It is rather old.
I'm sorry.
It's by J.R. Hartley.
Never mind. There's still a few more to try.
Good old yellow pages. We don't just help with the nasty things in life, like a blocked drain. We're there for the nice things, too.
You do? Oh, that's wonderful. Can you keep it for me? My name, oh yes, it's J.R. Hartley.
Good old Yellow Pages.
Lovely. That's a lovely advert. Yellow Pages nailed it with the emotions, didn't they? That was the rally one that we showed. Subtle like a razor blade. All right, that subtle. Well, maybe next year, son. Yeah, I loved that.
You were right as well about everybody's dads always having a tie.
Yeah.
Always having a jacket.
Yeah.
Always dressing.
Yeah.
for work, even when they're just phoning.
Certainly your granddad, he'd turn up out of the blue and he's been on his own for 2 days and he's still there in a shirt and tie, or he lives alone or whatever, and he just gets fully dressed, and that's classic there. Funnily enough, I told my son about the Yellow Pages the other day. It was a history lesson we were doing at home, and I explained it to him, and I think he sort of vaguely recalled it as a young child, but I told him about that advert, and even as a 17-year-old, when I told him how that advert pans out, he went, "Oh, that's nice," because it was. Yellow Pages, much as they struggle these days, and obviously they're absolutely knackered as a business compared to the 80s, they absolutely nailed the emotional heartstrings of finding the right products or shop for you.
Definitely, yeah. And you could, again, hours of fun to be had looking for the strangest named businesses who wanted to be at the very beginning of each section, because each business had its own section. So you would have plumbers, you would have, electricians, piano tuners and that. And they would all, it's like on Google, you only ever look at the first page of Google. So you're only going to look at the first page or maybe two of the Yellow Pages. And it was done in strict alphabetical order. So, as we've mentioned before, Aardvark, there's a lot of companies called themselves Aardvark something.
Aardvark zoos.
Aardvark like plumbers, Aardvark
piano tuners.
Whatever,
And just thinking about it, that piano tune there, talk about piano tuners, that was their little jingle all the time, wasn't it?
Wasn't
they always played it, even when he was cycling up the road on his trailer. And it wasn't, they couldn't ever have an upbeat advert because they always had that melancholy piano playing there.
We'll have that as the last one on the Christmas album.
Shall we? We'll sing along to it. Yeah. Andy and James sing the adverts, not sing the blues. Oh, yeah. No, it's lovely. J.R. Hartley, bless him. And people thought it was a real book. That's how convincing their adverts were. They probably did go into the Yellow Pages weirdly looking for a bookseller to try and find a Fly Fishing by J.R. Hartley.
See, if they'd have thought of them, now somebody would jump immediately on that bandwagon, be straight on the Kindle.
You know what? I bet you there is one.
There is,
but in our houses there were 2 books. Really, there was the Argos catalogue, and then there was Mills and Boon. And maybe Encyclopedia Britannica and some Reader's Digest. They were the only books really that we all had.
Reader's Digest, I remember everybody had Reader's Digest.
New book delivered every month.
Yeah, and it wasn't just it was all the bits of news, but with all the boring bits of detail taken away. It was like they did their own versions of books as well.
Oh yeah,
and
you could read Shakespeare in 5 pages.
Condensed books. They were
not milk.
And do you know what? There is a thing that's actually made me think that has come around again,
right?
In the form of an app, because there is an app now called Blinkist, which takes books and just distills them down into 15 minutes of talking into your ear. And that is exactly what Reader's Digest were doing with their condensed books and their condensed news stories from around the world. I did try to, you could write in with your stories for Reader's Digest to get them published.
Did you?
And if you had I think it was Life's like that or Funnies or something like that, so you could if you had an amusing anecdote, you could send it into them, and they would pay you anything up to £100.
Jesus.
Yes. And as a child I thought to myself, this is what I need to do.
Cash cow.
Never heard back.
No. I wonder if there'd be a 15-minute condensed version of this episode. When people would be like, sign me up, let's do this shit. No, I mean, Reader's Digest was a way to show people that you were wealthy. If you had Reader's Digest books lined up, obviously that's where the VHS cassette holders got their designs from. Those golden and maroon and black and golden spines, and go along all the Reader's Digest, bloody Pickwick papers and bloody, I don't know, Macbeth and everything else, and then you'd have a few blank cassettes stored next to it to make it look like you've actually got 12 books, not 6. But yeah, that was if you had Reader's Digest, you had some money. Because you were subscribing and ordering books so you weren't ever going to read.
They did a whole subscription thing as well. Do you remember there was a subscription thing about music where you would have an album sent to you?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a subscription thing. I don't know whether it was Reader's Digest, but I seem to remember they were advertised sort of late night on TV.
Yeah.
And you would get...
Not available in shops.
Not available in shops.
There's a reason why.
You'd get it sent to you, but then they would automatically keep sending you shit that you could not easily cancel.
Well, no, because you couldn't just unsubscribe with a button.
No.
It just kept turning up. You go, oh, bollocks, I forgot to cancel that. And you got to write in a letter to ask them to stop sending this shit. But yeah. So you get a book every month, an album every month. I don't know what else you'd get, your magazine every month. But they didn't advertise much Reader's Digest, did they?
I don't think they did. No, I think maybe they didn't need to because they just had that ongoing market where it was impossible to cancel. once you were hooked in, there was no way. You know, there was no, like you say, there was no easy cancel button.
I wonder if it was just one of those letters that you used to get written to you. You know, because that was back in the day where they could just send you junk in the post, which you can't do now. You can't get junk now. The subscribe to you, that's not allowed, is it? In magazines, it's fine, but you won't get an actual letter saying, "Hey, why don't you subscribe to the Reader's Digest? You might win £300,000 on a Concorde trip to New York." That was what they used to do, wasn't it? Any old bollocks just to convince you. And nobody ever heard that they'd won the Reader's Digest giveaway prize. Nobody ever heard of anybody. Everybody knew somebody who knew somebody who'd won Little's Balls.
Yes.
And all that stuff. But nobody had ever heard of anyone winning the Reader's Digest prize. If you know somebody, please write in. And
maybe you were that person.
If you were that person,
America on Concorde.
You might be sat on a beach somewhere in Honolulu listening to this, thinking, "I won it."
I suppose there would have been rules, and I suppose somebody must have had to win it
back then. I don't think there were many rules. It's a ruleless world in the 80s, Andy. It's a free for all, wasn't it? Tell them they'll win 300 grand. Yeah, go on then. Put it on.
That was the thing as well. I suppose that when you were talking about the the pools, that was the nearest thing that we had to people regularly gambling, unless you were going into the betting shop or whatever. Because now we've got these premium rate text competitions that everybody's doing. You got the lotto and everything then. But with that, the two main things that people did was the football pools and premium bonds. And premium bonds were a big thing. And you do hear of people, you always did hear of people winning on the premium bonds or people winning on the pools. But never on a Reader's Digest competition.
No. And that's right. I mean, that's another way that people advertise you, of course, is they just came to your bloody door. You can't really cold call and knock on doors anymore. Not really. I mean, obviously, like in the last episode, we had that milk randomly left like some sort of weird threat.
But they didn't actually knock on your door, though, did they?
We are torturing cows. Look what we've done. So they didn't knock, but I guess that's a cold call. Milk. But no, I think that's happened a lot.
Did you actually complain about the milk, James? Did you actually phone them up?
I said I don't appreciate being given free things, and I worry about the farmers and their income, so please let me send money somewhere. Because farmers are struggling enough without you giving away free products. I'm offended. No, I didn't. We drank the milk, and it was full fat, though. Ugh. Anyway, but didn't that happen all the time? Once every 2 or 3 days, someone knocked on your door to try and sell you something.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest advertising burden of our lives, I think.
They used to come around selling like cutlery or
anything.
They said literally everything, and it'd be men, the middle-aged men selling stuff out of a suitcase,
or an ex-prisoner who'd sell you a mop and a bucket and a dishcloth. You're like, just want to let you know, I've just got out of prison. You're like, what? They're just trying to sort of recondition us into the public, and I've got to sell this. And you're like, I'll buy stuff, please. Just don't hurt the kids. It was such a strange one. And I remember we lived in a flat, so we were on the 3rd story. So he'd got in. I mean, obviously just jimmied the lock, but he'd got in somehow and up to the 3rd floor. And I was literally like 8 years old with my mum. It's just me and her going,
give me all your mops.
Just buy a sponge, something to soften the knife. But it was door-to-door advertising was a big thing.
Yeah, cold calling.
Yeah, exactly.
All the double glazing people used to come knocking on the door as well, didn't they?
Yeah. And once you let them in,
they would never leave.
No,
never leave.
But that spot the ball one always seemed such an easy way to win when I was a kid. Because you just look at the men and the way they're jumping into the goal mouth and you go, well, the ball's there. That's where the ball is, clearly. And it never bloody was.
No, because because that would make it a game of skill.
Yeah.
So it had to be a game of chance.
Yeah.
So even though they knew exactly where... I remember there was a time when they did a spot the ball competition and they forgot to remove the ball. So obviously everybody put the cross on where the ball was.
Yeah.
Everybody thought they're going to win here.
Yeah.
But because it was a game of chance... Although it was called Spot the Ball, it was decided by a panel of people where the ball was that week. So it didn't matter which way the players' eyes were looking. They would just put the anywhere. Okay, it does sound very scammy now, actually. When you think about it. But they actually printed it with the ball in. Everybody thought, well, this is great. I've definitely won because there's the ball. There's my X has completely marked the spot. But it turns out, no, even when you could see the ball,
we might not have seen it.
You were not. You were not right.
Sounds like we're talking about the Nick Cayman laundrette video again, doesn't it? Oh, look, I've spotted the ball. Oh no, that's upset me now, because I always thought that it had to be some sort of scientific way that they measured the exact centre, but it wasn't. I mean,
no, it was just made up.
No, just blokes
made up.
Blokes in a committee.
On that heartbreaking moment, James, we've got time for one more classic advert. Now, I think I've saved the best till last out of the whole 2 episodes.
Yeah.
This is not just a jingle.
No.
This is a whole flipping song.
Oh, hello.
See if you remember this.
Go on.
Just one cornetto, give it to me. Delicious ice cream. Vitali, tonight a dream. Give me cornetto from World's ice cream.
See, that she couldn't have reached him.
No.
So that's ruined it for me straight away. Carly Black Label probably did one where she fell into the water.
They probably did, actually, didn't they?
They must have done a cornetto one. Oh, God. I mean, that's just brilliant. Ice cream sellers must have got bloody fed up with that. What do you want, mate?
Yeah.
Just one cornetto. That's
another one.
That's another one for you.
We'll make that the opening track.
Yeah.
We've got the opener and we've got the closer now.
I never really went in. I don't mind a cornetto these days, but it didn't really work for me, that. A whippy ice cream with a flake.
It's always a whippy, is there?
But that's what they're trying to compete with, that, weren't they? But the funny thing is, you have an ice cream in Italy, it's not lasting for the length of that advert. It's just all dripped around your hand.
Yeah.
But it's, she was licking that perfectly.
Wasn't she just?
You know what? Well, I think what should have happened is he was watching her and then he twatted his head in the low bridge. And, and we don't see how it ends. But cornetto, everybody was singing that all the time. It was an absolute classic. And now, if you sing that, the kids will look at you like you've gone mental. Like, what? What are you singing?
It needs to come back. I think we should start a campaign to bring all these iconic jingles back.
But wouldn't it work, though? Because we've got such a huge middle-aged community who are loving looking back at like this. Hi, thanks for listening, watching, /listening. And we love the 80s. And it's a real... Even with the kids on TikTok and stuff, there's 80s stuff going on. You start promoting... bringing back the old adverts for products be great, like Chewits. Do you remember that one with the dinosaur who was chewing up some bus depot?
Yes,
it's great. It's great. Although Chewits aren't that chewy anymore, so it's probably some sort of trade descriptions problem there. Chewier than a bus depot, they're not. They're really not.
It was a did it breathe fire, or am I getting another? Was it breathing fire as well, like a dragon sort of thing?
I think that would have been a bit dangerous. Around the bus depot and Chewits be scaring the kids with some sort of fire, health and safety advert instead. Then all of a sudden, but I remember the random sort of dinosaur walking through the town. What was the town? Something bus depot. Something
answers in the comments.
Come on, people.
Please.
I remember it back in the day, but I don't remember the town. Chewier than something bus depot. Somewhere up north. Anyway.
I know one place up north that we will always remember. That is Accrington Stanley. Always remember Accrington Stanley. It's the only place up north that I can actually remember. All thanks to that one advert.
What was it advertising?
That is a thing, isn't it?
Oh dear! I remember the other kid going,
Accrington Stanley. Again, that's the thing. The advert itself was better than the product. I can't tell you what the product was.
I wonder if people heard that advert of the water in Majorca don't taste like what it was. I wonder if they would remember that it was Heineken. It's funny, isn't it, that you're right. Some of these adverts are so brilliant or awful in equal measure, but sometimes it overtakes the adverts themselves.
Indeed. And on that ponderous bombshell, it's time to say thank you very much for watching episode 14 of the Bring Back the 80s podcast in our season 2, which means 15 is next.
No.
Don't ask me what the theme is next time around.
I won't.
but it'll be something good.
It'll be 80s.
It'll be 80s themed. It'll be in a week's time. Until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition. We'd love it if you could subscribe in your favourite podcast app. And don't forget, there's a video version on YouTube too. You can contact us using the links in the show notes and on the YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time for another edition of Bring Back the 80s.